Welcome to the It Matters podcast. I'm your host, Walter Perez, and let's dive in as we help you grow your mindset and elevate your leadership. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the It Matters podcast. My name is Walter Perez, and I am excited that you're joining me for another episode. I'm bringing you a solo episode today. I hope that you're enjoying the episodes that we produced up to now. You know, there's been some great content, some great guests, and there's definitely a lot more to come. And I wanted to bring you an episode today. I've been chewing on this motto, slogan that we have at the Leader Co. And when we put this together, we were thinking about what we wanted to be about, what we wanted to represent, and what we value. And the motto is, it is a win-win when the leader leads well. Now, you've heard me say that statement before. You've heard me share it multiple times, but I wanted to take some time and maybe dissect it a little bit or explain it a little bit, because everything that I do, whether it's through my leadership company, through the events that we put on, whether it's this podcast, whether it's a blog I write, whatever it is, I truly believe that it's a win-win when the leader leads well. And I'm on a mission, and I have this vision as well, that we need to understand that leading well matters. And it's not just about being a leader. Now, you've heard me talk about that. I believe all of us are leaders. The challenging part in that is not all of us are doing it well. And so we need to lead well. We need to lead well because there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of things that are going on in our world, in our culture, in our organizations, in our families, and they all deserve to be led well, because there's a lot of good things that are going on, or good things that could happen. When we lead well, there is people that get impacted. There's things that get moving. People get inspired. People get motivated. Things happen when we lead well, because leadership can be bad or good. And so I'm calling all of us to be intentional, to be mindful that if we're going to lead, we're going to have to be focused on doing it well. And we should desire to do things with excellence. We should desire to do things better, and we should desire to do things well, because when we do it well, it produces great things. And so this is the thing. So what do we mean by it's a win-win? Let's break it down for a second. It's a win-win because if you choose today to say, I'm going to be a leader that leads well, then that means that you're going to have to prioritize some personal growth. That means you're going to have to prioritize some leadership development, and you're going to have to invest in yourself, because if you're going to do anything well, you're going to have to be, like I said, intentional. So you're going to have to decide to say, okay, I need a growth plan. I need a game plan. I need to follow a blueprint. If I'm going to do this, then I'm going to have to know where I'm heading. If I'm going to have vision, I need to be able to know my destination, so then I can map out my journey and know how I'm going to get there. And so part of that is that when you make the decision and the choice to say, okay, I want to be a great leader and I'm going to do things well, then how do I do that? What are the examples out there of leaders that have led well? And even in that process, you can actually think about leaders that haven't done well, because you can then say, okay, well, now I know what not to do. But also, you know what to do when you study great leaders. Let me say this: leading well is not just about playing a defense game. Definitely it's important to know what not to do and to avoid things, to have boundaries, to be able to have systems in your life that keep you on track. But you also need to know what to do in order to advance, in order to move forward. You need to have strategy and things in your life that are actually making you better. And as you know, and I've said it before, like, this idea of success or becoming a better version of ourselves or becoming a great leader, it is not a destination. We don't just go, okay, though having a destination in mind is important, but what happens when you reach that destination? What happens when you get there? Well, you continue to grow. So being growth minded is always more important than being gold minded. Growth minded individuals get up in the morning and say, well, I need to do something different from yesterday. I need to continue to grow. I need to continue to learn. Will never arrive. Doesn't matter how old I am, what experiences I have. I need to learn how to grow. And growth has a complex system in that there's an aspect of being reflective. There's an aspect of being present in the moment. And there's also an aspect of being a visionary where you're always making new goals, creating a new journey, creating a new destination, and pivoting along the way. Because as we grow, we end up learning things that we didn't know, and we realize, actually, I don't think that way anymore, or I don't value the same things that I used to value when I was a teenager. I don't value the same things that I used to value when I was in my 20s. I don't value the same things that I valued when I didn't have a family. So it is okay to grow and adapt and change and tweak along the way and continue to just navigating through your journey and realizing that you're becoming the best version of yourself if you choose to. And so it is a win for you because you continue to be the best that you can be. I talk a lot about maximizing your God-given potential. I think we all have potential in us, but some of us are missing it because we're not, first of all, acknowledging and accepting the fact that we have potential. Some of us then are not realizing what our potential is, that we have giftings and talents and sets of skills that make us who we are. And then some of us need to then tap into that potential and maximize it and take it to the next level and work at our best, not just be mediocre and average and just kind of coast through life. I want to encourage all of you that in leading well, you're going to actually get to these levels where you're maximizing your potential, you're continuing to be your best, and then you can live a life of no regret. You live a life that exemplifies your values, who you are, and who you want to be. And out of that, you end up giving the best to people. And then we go to the next part, that second win. So the first win is you. The second win, or it could be reversed, however you want to look at it, but it comes together. The second win is how you help others win, how you end up adding value to other people, and how you make them great individuals, how you help them maximize their potential. And a great leader, as we know it, a great leader doesn't just create more followers, but they create what? More leaders. They create other leaders that have their own vision, that they have their own desires and passions, and they end up then impacting the world and rippling. And that's why when you lead well, and when you're a leader that leads well, your impact can't truly be measured, because the ripple of impact will go into life, into the universe, and you'll never fully know the impact that got created because you decided to be better, and most importantly, decided to treat others well, to lead others well, to be able to empower other people. That's the power of leadership. You've heard me say it. It's not about managing people. I'm going to continue talking about this because I'm seeing the disconnect, that leadership is about people. And so we're going to have to learn how to add value to people. We're not going to be able to use managerial systems to be able to get people to, fall into place and to be able to buy into vision and to be able to, produce and maximize their potential. Systems can be managed, products can be managed, companies can be managed, but then we have to put that aside. And when we come to the people part, which, by the way, people are the ones that actually really do excel the things that you want to do and make things happen. So that means the one way that we're going to lead well is by understanding that we got to learn how to communicate better. We're going to have to learn how to value people. We're going to have to learn how to serve people. We're going to have to learn how to be able to not just value them, but add value to people and be able to give them the resources and give them the ability to transform themselves and develop them, be patient with them, delegate to them, and empower them through responsibilities, empower them through decision making. and empower them to be able to think on their own too, and allow them to walk into the person that they can be. And man, when you do that, not only do you lead better and do you lead well and do you impact others, but you end up multiplying yourself. You multiply yourself, and that's how you multiply your impact. You end up rippling it, and you end up being in multiple places at once, because there's people that you are investing in, and you're creating leaders that are in line with your values, in line with the company's mission, in line with the cause of whatever you're working on, and you end up doing more than you could ever imagine. So this idea that it's a win-win when the leader leads well, I don't know if you will ever fully understand the kind of impact you can make in somebody's life, because when you impact them, you treat them well, when you give them the resources to lead well, that now has generational implications. Now that has the ability to impact their children's children, their families. It could have financial implications. It could have, man, the leadership implications, the leadership legacy that you could start because you've chosen to lead well is just amazing. It is hard to comprehend fully. And I want everybody to understand that it's more than just one way of thinking. You're not self-serving. You're not here to be selfish. You're here to be selfless. You're not here to be prideful. You're here to be humble. You're here to in the process of getting better is with others in mind. You're not getting better so you can be on a pedestal, so you can be on the throne and say, this is what I've done. It's all about me, me, me. No, the idea of being a better leader and investing in yourself has to be with the mindset of others in mind. And also, not to do it with this hidden agenda that you're going to get something in return. Though I do believe that if you impact enough people, if you add value to enough people, it always comes back. You reap what you sow. And that's an important principle to understand, that I believe that God has put in the universe, and you can't hide from it. And so it's very important to understand that you reap what you sow. So also remember the negative aspect of that, right? What you're not doing. There's sometimes we can get caught up in this path that we end up finding out one day that, hey, this is not where I want it to be, but you forgot what you've put into in the last months, weeks, years, and you are a product of what you've invested in, product of your community, product of your relationships, product of your input. And so it's important to think about that. So if you're going to lead well, you're going to have to do both on an intentional level. You have to be intentional about how you lead yourself so you can grow yourself, so you can be better. But then you have to be intentional about leading others. And people, man, it's hard. It's hard to lead people. The leadership game, the leadership world is tough. Why? Because it involves people. And if you don't believe me, think about how hard it is to lead yourself. Some of you can't even create some good habits, can't get up when you say you're going to get up, you're going to do what you're going to do. It's hard. Now imagine when somebody else is trying to do that to you. So be patient, have grace, love on people, serve them, and go on this beautiful, rewarding journey of leading well, because it has the legacy that you're going to leave behind of impacting people. It'll never fail. It will never fail. I guarantee you that. And so, as you continue to invest in people, as you continue to invest in yourself, prioritize doing it well. It's a win win when the leader leads well. And I wanted just to get that message out to you, because I want you to meditate on it. I want you to think on it. I want you to sit on that and reflect. What have you done kind of mediocre and average in the past? What can you improve on? And maybe you just got to start with one thing today. Maybe you got to start with one thing and then add to it, and then continue to add to it. And before you know it, one day you do wake up and go, actually, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at this, because you've invested the time, you've mastered your craft, and you've also done it on purpose. So, of course, you're going to get some results. And you're going to be able to then lead not only companies, organizations, projects, You're going to be able to lead people, and they're going to exceed your expectation, and you're not going to be the cap. You're not going to be the one that caps them or limits them. If you continue and you keep up with your leadership development, you'll be able to not only lead people, you'll be more than qualified, and you'll be able to actually take people to levels that they've never experienced. Remember, leading well is about bringing people along. If you're a leader out there, if you qualify, if you think you're a leader out there and you're going to come back to me and say, well, it's lonely at the top, Walter, I don't know what you're talking about. Can I just say that I don't know if you're actually leading with intention and at the essence of leadership, if you're actually a leader. Okay. I want you to stop and think of that. If you're lonely at the top, you ain't leading, you're just taking a walk, as one proverb once said. You're just taking a walk, and you're actually just creating an illusion for yourself that you're a leader. You need to step back. You need to come back a couple of levels, grab your people, and bring them along, because true leadership is surrounded by great people, and they are investing in people and making them leaders, not just followers. Think on that, because this is very serious business. It involves people, it involves people's lives. And so if you want to do this leadership thing, do it well. And if you are in the leadership thing and not doing it well, smarten up and readjust and tweak and start putting in the right habits so that you can undo some of the bad things that you've done and start leading well. It's a win-win when the leader leads well. Take this episode, hear it again, share it with somebody who needs to hear this message, and allow them to sit with this and meditate on it. Add value to them by sending this podcast out to them. Comment, give me some of your thoughts and suggestions. And as I leave you today, until we hop on to the next episode, leading well matters. Bye for now.